Brent Ellis. Dr. Ellis, welcome back to the show.
Thank you, sir. Great to be here.
It's great to have you here. And congratulations, Brent just signed a 5-year contract extension to stay at the helm of Spring Arbor University.
I did.
Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. It feels good.
So you must like it here.
We love it here. Yeah, we love it here. You know, it's interesting. We have been in Spring Arbor now more years than we've lived any other location in our marriage. And so we moved here in 2009, and I can remember showing up here in 2009 and people saying to us, "Why in the world are you leaving Texas to come to Michigan? Everybody's leaving Michigan." And I can remember at that time actually going to I think it was a chamber meeting and being introduced at this chamber meeting and giving a little bit of an outsider's perspective to Jackson County, because as you know, you lived through this. 2008, 2009 were not easy years for the Jackson County area, but we came in and saw. We loved the fact that you had vibrant higher education institutions. You know, you had great school systems. You had a phenomenal park and recreation facilities, golf courses galore, beautiful walking trails. You know, Ellis Park, all of these things that and then the downtown was trying to come back a little bit, and we looked at it and we thought there's so much potential here. And we've loved just seeing what has transpired in Jackson County as a whole, over these last 15 years. It's been amazing.
It was nice.
16 years, yeah.
I overheard your interaction with Denise Bergstrom as she left the set, the superintendent at Hanover, and she said, "We have some of your students," and you said, "We have
some of her students.
Some of your students."
Right. Yeah, and so we love the partnership with the area school systems is beautiful, and to know as she's a Spring Arbor grad, acting as superintendent there. We have another Spring Arbor grad, Jeff Bontrager at Northwest Community Schools, but we have wonderful partnerships at all of the local ISDs. Good people leading those, and so we're grateful and thankful for the relationship we have with the area schools, for sure.
So you're the longest serving president in the 150-some year history.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Yeah.
And we were talking before the show, some of the accomplishments. We don't have time today to go through the accomplishments and the changes because there have been so many. But I thought we could talk about some of the things that are going on right now. You've got a massive, and I think this is the biggest fundraising campaign in the school's history for the expansion of the Whitman Gibbs Science Building.
Yeah, actually, this is the first comprehensive campaign that we've ever undertook as an institution. And so typically what we do, and we're raising money for, we'll have a project, so we raise money for a building, or we raise money to do a new track, or a new lab, or a new space. This is what we call a comprehensive campaign. Those are all capital projects. This comprehensive campaign looks at the totality of dollars raised, and so we have 3 main components that we're raising money for. So one is annual scholarships, and so all of those annual scholarship funds come in, and we distribute those immediately to students that are studying at the university. So our goal is $10 million for those annual scholarships, and we're on the cusp of that already. Then the second is endowment growth, and so the endowment growth is focused on creating those sustainable scholarships and those sustainable funds that will be giving to the university in perpetuity. And so when I became president, our endowment was actually we've grown at 400% in my time, which is amazing. God has blessed us in remarkable ways. Well, this is adding another $30 million to the endowment, and so we're on the cusp of that. And then the largest portion of it is $35 million of the $80 million project is for the modernization and the expansion of the Whitman Gibbs Science Building. So we've gone in and we've added nursing, we've added mechanical engineering, we've added electrical engineering. Those programs are doing marvelously well for us, and we need to update the science space. We've done a lot, and put millions of dollars into the engineering space already, millions of dollars into the nursing space already. But what this will do is we'll be able to take all of the STEM programs, put them under one roof, and see. And we're excited about some of the collaboration that will take place with some of our more traditional sciences: chemistry, biology, biochem, physics, working alongside engineers, working alongside nurses, and seeing how some of that interdisciplinary work can really inspire people.
And the building is already under construction.
Yes.
And I've seen the renderings of what it's going to look like when it's all done. It's going to really change the campus.
Yeah, it will. I think even the work that's being done right now, where we're on that. If you've been to campus on that northeast side of Whiteman Gibbs, we're building a beautiful atrium that will really lend itself well to the overall landscape of the university. The building kind of stuck out in some ways, in the past, where you walk by it and you go, that looks tired, that looks worn, and it'll be a gorgeous atrium. And we're already doing some of the renovation work inside, and then the plan would be to build a 3-story tower that would house the majority of the labs in that building on that far west side of the current facility, between our White Library and our polling center. And
really, it'll make that the quad a true quad.
Yeah, it'll kind of delineate in an even greater way that the quad. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I remember several years ago, you invited a bunch of people to lunch, and you hinted at your plans for this. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And at the time, I think you were thinking this is going to be a $15 million project.
Right.
Remember?
Right. Oh my. Oh yeah. I do remember, because and so what has transpired is we have actually we have seen the people that we have talked that have responded to this in such phenomenal ways. And so our initial goal for our Ignite campaign, which is that comprehensive campaign, was $40 million. And then we've grown it to $60 million. And now we're at $80 million as far as a goal is concerned. We've already eclipsed $65 million on the way to that $80 million goal.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's what it is it's God blessing Spring Arbor University. These are God's blessings, God's provision, and we're exceedingly thankful for the generosity of folks that love our mission and want to be a part of equipping people to go out and be ambassadors of Christ around the world.
And we've noticed, as you mentioned, your first thought about how money is spent is towards students and scholarships, and that was the focus of Evening at the Arbor.
Yes.
Where
you were recognized.
Well, thanks.
Congratulations for being recognized as the Small Community Faithfulness Award recipient. What an incredible thing you and your family have done in providing Jackson TV and serving our community and helping promote, again, what we saw 16 years ago when we moved here, all of the good that is here. And at times we have to be reminded of the good, and you've done that extraordinarily well through your time. So thank you.
Well, thanks so much. We appreciate that. And thanks for the kind words. And we know that you wanted to be at the event, but your son, Charlie, got married that weekend, right?
He did, yeah. So our oldest son, Charlie, who is now lives in Arizona with my youngest son, Joey, and my daughter, Lainey. They're all out in Arizona now. He married the love of his life, Emily White, and so we wanted to be there, and so obviously we couldn't celebrate you and celebrate him, at the same time. So we did choose Charlie over you. So sorry. So you and Karen took a back seat to our son Charlie and his wife Emily.
But we were wondering, the Evening at the Arbor was on Thursday. The wedding was on Saturday.
Yes. We could have.
We could have.
We could have.
But
Yeah.
I'm sure
Yeah.
you wanted to be at the rehearsal dinner.
Yeah, it was important for us to be there. for
Well, you
that.
had another reason to be out there too. You had graduation, right?
Yeah, so the following weekend, our youngest son, Joey, graduated from college. And so we actually missed Spring Arbor's commencement because of that. And so I was, again, thankful for our Board of Trustees and for the phenomenal team that we have at Spring Arbor, where they didn't miss a beat. It went on without a hitch, and folks loved it, and our graduates were honored. And so we were able to then also be with Joey on his special day. So we're thankful for that.
Everyone felt you were in the right place at both
Thank you.
times. So
Thank you.
one of the things we talked about earlier, things coming out of Washington. When we're hearing the things about
Yeah.
higher education, we're hearing about Harvard and Columbia.
Yeah.
But we're also seeing there's some things in the reconciliation bill that
Yes.
potentially will affect higher education in general, and in particular Christian higher education.
Yes. Well, and in Christian, in this manner, many of our institutions, many Christian institutions, put an emphasis on some of the helping professions, right? So at Spring Arbor, we have, we graduate business leaders, we graduate doctors, we graduate lawyers, we graduate engineers, and so all of those folks go out and they make a good living. They make a good living. We also educate an extraordinary amount of teachers, right? So, for instance, we just talked to a couple educators that have connection with Spring Arbor University, and but social workers, counselors, nonprofit leaders, pastors, missionaries. And so one of the provisions of this reconciliation bill that I think is arguably the worst component of it is it reduces the purpose of higher education down to what you make, the amount of money you make, for a living. Mm-hmm. And so, in fact, it's interesting. We promise this, to our graduates or students when they come in. We say, look, if all you get is a piece of paper that qualifies you for a role in the world's economy, then we've not done our job. Life and purpose is so much more profound than the amount of money you make in your career. That's not the only reason why education exists. That's not why Spring Arbor exists. Now, our students do really, really well. They do extraordinarily well. In fact, the latest outcomes, we do an outcomes assessment for the federal government where they look and they say, basically, did you get from your institution what you desired? And they're measuring, are they employed? Are they in some kind of military service or nonprofit service? Are they in grad school? The average within our region, within the regional average, is just under 80% positive outcomes. Mm-hmm. The national average is just over 80% positive outcomes, within those things. We just hit 99% positive outcomes. 99% of our students say they got what they wanted at Spring Arbor University.
That's amazing.
I've not seen anybody score higher than that. I've never seen 100% positive outcomes. 99% is, it's arguably the best in the nation. But what this bill does is it reduces the purpose of higher education down to its most carnally motivated measurement. How much do you make? And so what it does is it says, okay, we're going to measure your graduates 3 years after graduation. We're going to do the median salary that your students make, and we're going to compare that across the nation and see what the 3-year median salary is across the country. And if you are not at that threshold, then you have to give money back to the federal government. Well, the things that I'm all for accountability, and I think there probably are ways that we need to ask questions. Are we getting a return on the investment? And that we're putting a lot of money into higher education. We're not directly recipients of any of that, right? It's only coming from Pell Grants and from subsidized loans. But what it doesn't do is it doesn't ask the question of degree type. And so when we have a significant amount of our graduates that are going into those helping professions, well, if you compare us to an engineering school or a technical institute, or compare us to a business school, we aren't at that same level, right? Because we have teachers, we have social workers, we have nonprofit leaders, we have pastors, we have missionaries. And so the thing about Spring Arbor is we're minimally underneath that median on the national scale. If you look at where we are in the state of Michigan, we're above the benchmark. But they're not measuring it on regions, so they're also so they don't weight it based upon the cost of living index either. And so if it was weighted for cost of living, we'd exceed it. If it was weighted for degree type, we would far exceed it. But those two, it's just a minimalistic assessment that is going to end up costing Christian institutions of higher education. Corporately, it's going to cost about $80 million on an annual basis. Wow. And our contribution would be much small. Ours would be $100,000. But $100,000 means the loss of people. That's we'd have to let people go to be able to cover that, to give it back to the federal government, when we know what we're doing is incredible. And what's taking place broadly in private higher ed, that the federal government is not wanting to continue to, it's not happening at our institutions, right? It's not. We're getting thrown in, with some of the other elite private institutions and some of what's taking place there. It's not happening at our institutions. So, yeah.
Well, pay attention. There are things that are happening, obviously in Washington, that do affect you and me, all of us right here.
Yeah. Yep.
Pay attention.
Yep. Yeah.
All right. Well, I know you've got a lot of work on the campus this summer. You just sent off your latest class.
Yes.
Congratulations
Thank
to
you.
SAU's class of 2025.
688
wow.
graduates. Yeah. This
That's
fall.
awesome.
This spring. Yep. Yeah. Fantastic.
Good to see you. Thanks for coming in today.
Yeah. Thank you.
The president of Spring Arbor University, Dr. Brent Ellis.